Something I've noticed is that people don't typically start their search in Pinole. It tends to enter the conversation after they've toured a few East Bay cities and reassessed what actually makes sense for them. And that's typically when Pinole clicks. It doesn't try to compete with other big name cities, but once buyers slow down and spend some real time here, they start to see why it works. Stay till the end because Pinole is one of those cities that just makes more sense the longer you're here. Pinole is situated in the northern East Bay, right off the I-80. And from a local perspective, that matters a lot, especially for commuters. Driving from Pinole into San Francisco is actually very realistic, which is why a lot of buyers who work in the city start paying attention to this area. What I hear most often is that the commute feels manageable, but coming home feels different. Traffic starts to thin out, streets quiet down, and the pace changes almost immediately. You're still connected to the Bay Area for work and opportunity, but you're not carrying that intensity into your evenings and weekends. That balance is one of the main reasons why Pinole starts showing up on shortlists. Once buyers stop thinking just about distance and start thinking about how their day actually ends. Schools are usually one of the first questions families ask, and Pinole typically surprises people here. When buyers are deciding where to put down roots, updated schools aren't just about education. They signal stability, planning, and commitment to the community. I've seen families initially overlook Pinole, then come back once they understand this piece and realize it aligns better with their long-term plans than they first thought. That's why Pinole often shifts from a maybe city to a serious option. Once buyers look ahead instead of just the next few years. One of the reasons why Pinole tends to surprise buyers is because it doesn't just lock you into one type of home or lifestyle. A lot of East Bay cities feel one note once you start touring. Pinole doesn't. In Pinole Valley, you get a quieter, more residential environment with wider streets and more space between homes. This area tends to appeal to buyers who want a true neighborhood feel and are thinking long-term. It feels settled and stable, which is why families and long-term homeowners often gravitate here. Terra Hills plays a very different role in the market. In my experience, Terra Hills is one of the more affordable, entry-level neighborhoods in Pinole, which makes it especially attractive to first-time home buyers. You'll find a lot of solid starter homes here, often 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, single-story layouts, along with relatively wide streets and practical neighborhood design. It may not have the same feel as Pinole Valley, but that's also why it works as an entry point. For buyers looking to get into the East Bay without overextending, Terra Hills is often where the conversation starts. Then there's Old Town Pinole. Old Town tends to attract people who value walkability, character, and proximity to local coffee shops, restaurants, and community events. The lifestyle here is different, but for the right buyer, it's exactly what they're looking for. What I see over and over is that buyers appreciate having real choices in Pinole. Instead of stretching to make one neighborhood work for every phase of life, they can compare Pinole Valley, Terra Hills, and Old Town and decide what actually matches how they want to live. Whether that's long-term, stability, an affordable first step into home ownership, or a more walkable, connected lifestyle. That kind of flexibility is becoming harder to find in the East Bay and is one of the main reasons why Pinole keeps showing up on buyers' shortlists once they start touring. One of the quieter strengths of Pinole is how simple life actually feels once you're living here. You have access to grocery options like Trader Joe's and Sprouts, Kaiser for healthcare, and Essentials just a short drive away. You also have the Fitzgerald Drive retail corridor, where places like In-N-Out, Target, Best Buy, and other big box stores make errands straightforward. Buyers don't always think about this up front, but over time, not having to leave town for basics makes a big difference. These aren't the things buyers get excited about on day one, but they're the things that shape routines. Over time, less driving between errands and appointments add up. Life feels more efficient, and that efficiency turns into more time and less stress. When buyers reflect on why they like living somewhere, convenience almost always pops up, and Pinole delivers that in a practical way. Pinole has a sense of continuity that's becoming harder and harder to find in the East Bay, and you can feel it most clearly in Old Town Pinole. Local spots like East Bay Coffee, Tina's Place, and Pear Street Bistro aren't just places people try once. They're places that become part of weekly routines. You start recognizing faces, getting used to familiar rhythms, and feel connected faster than you might expect. That sense of community shows up in events people actually show up for year after year. The annual car show at Fernandez Park is a big one. drawing long-term residents, families, and car enthusiasts from around the area. Pinole also hosts 4th of July celebrations, holiday events, seasonal festivals, and family-focused gatherings in the parks, which keep people connected throughout the year. These events aren't massive or overwhelming. They feel local, approachable, and very community-driven. The bowling alley is another example of that continuity. It's been here for decades and is still active, which says a lot about how long people stay and how invested they are in the city. Places like that naturally become gathering points over time. All of this matters more than people expect. Buyers often tell me that Pinole feels more familiar faster than other cities, even when they're new. Outdoor access in Pinole is not just something that people talk about, it's something that they actually use. Open space becomes part of daily life rather than a weekend-only activity. The Bay Trail and nearby shoreline help the area feel more open and expansive than people expect, especially for a place that is still very much part of the Bay Area. Over time, that access to space shapes how people spend their time and why many feel more grounded living here. Pinole has added popular food and retail options like Five Guys, Chipotle, Nick the Greek, Fire Wings, and Dave's Hot Chicken. The best part about that growth is it hasn't replaced what's existing already. Instead, it's layered with convenience while keeping the city's overall feel intact. Buyers like having options without feeling like the city has been overdeveloped or stripped of its character. Pinole has changed just enough to stay current, without losing the parts that make it feel familiar. That balance is one of the main reasons why people feel comfortable committing here long term. What I see consistently is that while Pinole is not a well-known city, once people learn about it, it grows on them. The more time people spend here, the more it stops feeling like a backup plan and starts feeling intentional. If you're thinking about making a move in the East Bay and you want to see which cities best fit your lifestyle, Pinole is worth a closer look. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe for more East Bay breakdowns. And for more real estate content, follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching and see you next time.